What up, guys? Today I want to talk about creating an environment that is going to breed success. I don't mean like how to become a millionaire necessarily. I mean for training. I mean for training goals, whether it's fitness or being prepped or tactical fitness or all of the above. If you're like me, that you like to hit the range often, all the time, stay in good shape. I've been doing my best to get as much striking and things like that, like boxing, in as I can. I also really care about loving myself and having a confident, positive attitude. So I do lift weights, I do CrossFit, I do things like that. My point in saying all that is today I want to talk about creating an environment that breeds the best version of you for your goals, right? So as you can see, we'll start off with fitness. I have a Rogue Echo bike right here, and from all my experience in the last, I don't know, 8 or 9 years of fitness, and really anything I do, but we're gonna talk about fitness right now. The best way to see results and consistent success with my fitness, staying in good shape, staying within the realm of what I think is acceptable for my body type or my fitness level, is having things at my house, like this Rogue Echo bike. Having tools and training devices that are going to promote or funnel you into succeeding in your goals, whether it's fitness goals or firearms or whatever, right? So having this bike, this is probably the most important piece of fitness equipment that I could suggest to anybody that really cares about just overall high quality fitness, has to manage their time, and if you're not trying to look like Arnold, just being completely transparent here, if you're just worried about overall fitness, health, performance, and you're not trying to be 250 pounds of raw steroids and muscle, the assault bike or the Rogue Echo bike is the best tool to have at your house, available to you in the living room, in the garage, wherever you can put it, to where you can just wake up essentially and just hop right on the bike, like chug some water, obviously so you don't cramp. But something like the Rogue Echo bike and the assault bike, they don't need a warm-up. No one ever hurt themselves on a bike. Like, you can like go to the point where you feel sickly and want to puke because you went too hard, but nobody's like pulling muscles on the bike. Do I mean wake up and just go super hard, 110% sprint, for a minute straight and go puke mode? No, definitely don't do that. I mean, you can literally have 20 to 30 minutes out of your day. Everybody has that much time to just care about your overall body weight, body composition, heart health, and make sure that you have a relative level of conditioning. You could just take 20-30 minutes out of the day, do 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off, and slowly increase your tempo once you feel nice and warm. For me, it doesn't really snow where I'm at. It gets up to about 110 degrees at the most, 105 degrees at the most where I keep my bike. But then it also might get 35-40 degrees. Either way, I've never had a situation, whether it was me coaching at previous CrossFit gyms or at my own home gym, where I couldn't just hop on the bike, kind of just feel everything out for a few minutes and then get right on some bike intervals, right? My point is, with things like the Rogue Echo bike or assault bike, is there's absolutely no excuse to not have the 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes to get on here and do some bike intervals. No warm-up needed, and I promise it's gonna be good for your health. There's not one person on this earth that wouldn't benefit from having an Airdyne bike at their house. Yeah, this might cost you anywhere between $700 to $1,500 for one of these bikes, but if I didn't have, for example, this bike readily available to me, I think I'd have more fluctuation in my weight, because the bottom line is I don't have a consistent gym that I have a membership to right now. I have basically just whatever I can fit inside my house, and then when I travel I go to different gyms for short periods of time. I don't have like a gym that I'm actually like at all the time. So basically, between work, between other training, like whether it's boxing or firearms training, I'm basically just going into my garage and I'm hitting the rower, the Concept 2 rower, I'm hitting the bike, I'm getting a warm up. It doesn't matter what I have going on in that day. I know I can at least do those two things. That's gonna burn calories, it's gonna help my cardio, and it's gonna help keep me at a healthy weight. Again, if I didn't have this stuff, I don't know if I'd have the same management over how much weight I fluctuate in. I don't know if I'd have the same level of conditioning, because the bottom line is, like, right now it's raining like crazy outside, and yesterday I went for a light jog, but it didn't last very long because I was soaking wet. So this could be something that you have all the time, any weather. That's gonna just help you set yourself up for success. That's my whole point in what I'm talking about here. I basically have no excuse. You know, my back's been kind of tight lately, so I've been having to slow down a little bit on the weightlifting. I've been still doing it, but maybe a little bit less explosive stuff, more of the slow stuff. But again, that doesn't affect how often I can bike and keep my health up. But I think you guys get the point with the bike. With anything relating to fitness, that doesn't have to be a bike. That can be a kettlebell. You know, this is a Rogue kettlebell. I think they cost anywhere between 50 to 250 depending on how much weight you get. A kettlebell, you can do plenty of things, and how much space does that take up, right? Having a medicine ball, again, a lot of explosive functional movement. How much space does it take? You could take it anywhere with you. A lot of the things I'm talking about are things that you basically have no excuse. You have no excuse not to own a kettlebell, a medicine ball, or an Airdyne bike, because all these things hardly take up any space. And I know anybody who's watching this video who is on this channel because they shoot Gucci Glocks and AR-15s or whatever, they're into like gym bro stuff, and they're just constantly hitting the gym. They're training often. Everybody that is on this channel probably can afford to, at minimum, finance an assault bike and benefit from having this thing right next to you when you wake up, walking distance, in your house, all weather, in your apartment. It doesn't matter. There's no excuses. So setting yourself up with a situation to where no matter what you do, you really don't have an excuse other than I just don't want to do this, is going to guide you to an area to where you're going to get the most success. It's going to funnel you into achieving your goals, right? So my point here with what I'm talking about today is you want to create an environment around you where there's no excuses, and you have to be a straight up lazy dirtbag to be like, oh man, like I just can't hop on the bike for 5 minutes today. Like, everybody has time to just hop on the bike. Everybody has time to do push-ups or modified versions of push-ups. I understand if you want to deadlift or back squat or bench press heavy, there's a warm-up that goes into that, and there's injury risk that goes into that. There's no injury risk with things like a bike or a medicine ball. There's no warm-up involved with a bike or a rower. A rower is something I have too. There's no excuse. Okay, so as far as fitness stuff, I'm gonna end it with that. Now talking about firearm stuff. Before I end it with fitness stuff, another thing that I have too is that just like firearms training, everybody should be getting an actual coach to get as far as you can get. Me, with how limited I am with time, I don't have a consistent coach I'm working with for striking, but I do have a stand-up bag that does not take up a lot of room. It's really heavy, so it actually holds up really well, but I invested the money to get that so I can work on not only my fitness, my cardio, but also get reps in with striking, because that's something that I value. But having that here in my house made it to where I'm going to do it no matter what, because I know myself, and I know that with everything I have going on right now, I just probably wouldn't consistently make it to the MMA gym that is closest to me that I think is good enough for my standards or the coaches that I want to work with, right? I just know I wouldn't make it there as often, not even half as often as I am able to sit here and work on getting reps at the house with the bag, right? So again, having things accessible to you for achieving your goals that matter to you personally. So, done with the fitness stuff. Let's talk about firearms. So, this is a sirtpistol. It's got a training mag. It's a little so So with this thing, it doesn't have a reciprocating slide, so you can point it anywhere. It's red. People pretty much get that it's not a real gun if you're like inside your home, if you live with anybody else. This is going to be very, very similar to what you train with. They have SIG, they have Glock, Smith & Wesson. This is a Glock one. I only run in Glocks, so having things like a SIRT gun has helped me a lot on the range, because I can walk around my house all the time without having to worry about having like, is there ammo around? Am I gonna freak anybody out around me that's at the house? If I'm walking around and getting reps with, you know, a gun, I can have this around, let everybody know, hey, this is a toy, this isn't real, and I basically just walk around and I get reps. I can practice sight acquisition, I can practice grip, I can practice movement. This has actually really helped me a lot personally with moving with a handgun, walking with a handgun, keeping a nice good posture, things like that. And you should be drawing with your own personal firearm if you dry fire. But in the event that you have to worry about people around you, I have friends that, you know, had roommates, and their roommates are freaked out about them dry firing real guns, even if there's no ammo around. So SIRT guns would be an answer for that, because they can dry fire SIRT guns all the time, anytime they want, because it's not a real gun. It's just a fucking training tool. So things like this are another way to set yourself up for success and not create excuses. I personally leave this thing out, so I always see it, so I can be doing things that aren't involving training, like I could be cooking or something, but I'll leave this on the counter, and I'll just, in between cooking, I'll press out, and I'll just keep getting those quality reps with this. Maybe that doesn't mean a lot to you. I know personally I can vouch for the fact that having this SIRT gun has helped me a lot through dry fire with my movement with a handgun, like I said. So having things like this around to where you can practice reloads, whatever, that's setting yourself up for success. Something like this is like $200. It's a bit much, but it's well worth what I've received in terms of training value from this. Another thing that I like to have around to set myself up for success with firearms training is airsoft replicas. So it's an orange tip. This is a BCM replica. It's from BCM. It has everything that you would need on a real AR, and I actually test real stuff on here. So this is the Cloud Owl, right? So I actually test real parts, the BCM CAG. Anytime I'm running things and I want to practice around the house, again, without freaking anybody out, or even if you just don't personally feel good about running around the house with like a freaking AR, everybody should feel comfortable, because you should be responsible if you own one. But if you are one of those people that's like, I just prefer to run around with like a training tool, this is a good thing too, because this is a real replica of what a BCM feels like and runs like, with all the BCM furniture and everything like that. This cost me, I think it's like $500 for this replica, and it's not broke or done anything weird to me when I've gone airsofting with it. But this is, in a lot of ways, this is how I test out certain gear that needs to get extra reps. The bottom line is you can only go low light shooting so often if you don't have access to an indoor range that's always doing that, or if you don't have like a backyard range or a consistent place you go. I'm always traveling, and some of the places I have to me locally that I can shoot at low light, it's a pain in the ass to get everything together to run low light training. So I like to run around with my airsoft and practice, you know, running different things like this owl. I normally run mod lights, but I've been getting reps with this owl because I didn't really want to mount this with the other things I have on my real ARs. So again, my point is, this is just another way to you know, assure that you are going to be successful at your training, is if you keep things like this around. If you know you have access to this and there's no excuses, you can literally just grab this. Doesn't have to be in a safe or anything like that. There's literally no excuses to be like, oh, I can't grab my BCM replica airsoft gun and get some reps in. Whether it's just movement reps, reloads, or gear testing, like actually outside airsofting at airsofting events, or even just in your backyard or whatever, right? Because no one's gonna take a real gun in their backyard, but you can grab an airsoft gun and light up your backyard, trying out all this gear, right? So again, just another way to assure success. You want to, again, create an environment to where you always have this stuff around, you always have this stuff easily accessible to you, so there's no excuses. And these are all things that I'm not like making up. These are things that have kept me in line, because sometimes I just don't want to go drive to a gym. It's raining outside, it's cold right now. I don't want to go drive to a gym, then warm up, then lift weights, and then get sweaty, and then come back home hella freezing cold and deal with all that. I'd rather just come in here and, you know, get some reps in with the bike, get nice and warm, get my cardio in, maybe do some kettlebell swings, maybe do some dumbbell stuff after I warmed up on the bike, which is efficient with time. I don't know how busy you guys are. I tend to keep pretty busy. So again, all these things I keep around me, so I'm just constantly, oh, the SIRT gun's on the kitchen counter. I'm gonna grab it and run through reps as I'm cooking. Oh, the airsoft AR, I keep that, you know, next to my assault bike. So in between bike intervals, I can be kind of just messing around and working low ready, high ready, and things like that. This might seem like a bit much, but to me, I take this very seriously. I want to get good at the things that I want to be good at. I want to see a certain level of success and improvement in the things I want to get good at. And the bottom line is, if you have to drive so many minutes or hours to go do things, like I have to drive to certain ranges that take an hour to 2 hours to get to. Whenever you guys see me post my shooting videos, none of those are in my backyard. Those are an hour or more away. Rather than doing that every single time I need to get reps, I keep things like the SIRT gun or airsoft rifles around me to get those reps in. Not that dry firing with your actual handgun or whatever, or rifle isn't good, because that's all great too. I'm just saying you can get a lot done as well with these other things without freaking other people out, and also feeling a little bit better about, you know, it being a training tool. So the last thing I'm going to talk about, if you're on this channel, you're probably some sort of prepper mindset person. You're probably really into fitness, you're a gym rat, whether that's functional fitness or whatever, or maybe you just really like shooting and you're a range ninja. I don't know, maybe you're all the above like me. But with all that being said, the last thing I'm gonna talk about is your nutrition. I'm not gonna go super deep into that, but I am gonna say that everybody, including me, has the excuse, oh, well, you know, this was all that was around, right? Or Chipotle was the closest thing next to me when I was at work. Well, if you set yourself up for success with meal prepping, if you actually go grocery shopping once a week and get like steaks and healthy things like that, then you don't have to worry about being a shithead and eating McDonald's. I haven't had McDonald's since 2014, and that's because I've never put myself in a position to eat McDonald's. Anytime I'm home and I'm not traveling, I keep steaks in the fridge. And don't give me that bullshit like, oh man, I can't afford ribeyes every night, because chuck steaks are like fucking $5 for like a pound, or not even a pound, like 2 pounds or something like that. Chuck steaks are crazy, like cheap. I try to keep it, I try to keep things like to where they're not too expensive, but I do focus on my health and my wellness. So I'll have some ribeyes, I'll have some ground beef, I'll have some chuck steaks, I'll have bananas, I'll have avocados, a lot of eggs, some bacon, some different fruits. I'll have that kind of stuff in the fridge, and if you notice, pretty much nothing in any of that other than ribeyes is expensive. All that's very cost effective. And if I'm on the go, I always have, this is kind of the prepper in me, but also for health reasons, I always have some sort of RX bar or Quest bar inside of my car. It's not my go-to, but I know that I can keep that in there for long periods of time and just leave it there, right? You can set yourself up for success. Don't be that fucking fat ass range ninja that's like, fuck yeah dude, I run a staccato, a 2011, and I can burn shit down standing still. None of that shit's real. You're gonna get fucked up if anything were really to go down. That's just how I see it. I've trained with people who aren't in good shape and don't give a shit about how they eat, and you don't see the videos of them getting angry and mag dumping into a target and completely missing because there's some movement involved. I don't know how many times I've personally been at range events, at a course, or just at the range with boys, and I'm moving around well. I'm not even some super light person. I'm 225 right now, and I'm moving around really well, not breathing heavy, not doing weird shit to like fucking get fatigued and start missing and doing really bad. I've been around people who are out of shape, people who are clearly fat, and they just don't care about their health, and they drink daily. And those same people who honestly can outshoot me on the flat range standing still with their 2011s. You don't see the videos of them mag dumping into a target because they got really winded, really gassed after running, from one side of the range to the other, and then completely fucking missing and getting frustrated because it's not their fundamentals and it's not their shooting skills that got them there. It's the fact that they're so out of shape and unhealthy that they reached so much fatigue that all of that fell apart by the time it came to them having to move then shoot. I've seen this in real time. Believe me, don't believe me. My point is, if you're into anything that I have going on my page, I'm just gonna be honest with you. Give a shit about your nutrition, set yourself up for success across the board. And one of the things that has to go into being prepped, being fit, being tactically sound, and being confident, not being a dickhead to people, is, eating right and staying on top of your fitness. So anyways, hopefully any of this helped you guys. Don't be fucking dumb. Actually set yourself up for success. Buy these things, invest in these things, that instead of getting that beer at the Mexican food restaurant every single night, finance $1,000 fucking assault bike and make sure every single day of your life you can just hop on with no fucking excuse and improve your health and your fitness. Do things like that so that you're not a shithead. Okay? Like, subscribe my YouTube. You can hit up our website at trainwithpurpose.co for cool merch, products. Appreciate the support, guys. Hopefully I added value to your training.